place. Once again, the 20-year-old Andy Reid will be on pole position. Alongside him, the let me get this right, I do beg his pardon, Mason Law on the Trick Moto Kawasaki, and alongside him Tom Oliver's Yamaha. That's number 20, Tom Oliver, on the Anglia Fixing TK Cope Moto Yamaha. You know, when you start something you wish you'd never done. Dan Stamper, number 80, will be on the Allied Racing bike. He heads up row 2 from Alex Aulisha and Kyle Ride. Third row will feature Joe Collier, who was very fast in Superstock 6 last year, Ben Godfrey and James Lodge. And the fourth row will be, there's quite a few young Australians around. 18-year-old Australian Ben Curry ahead of Kevin Van Leuven and James Edwards. Number 155, James Edwards from Dartford, very much a local boy, just up the road on the 3GI Technology Go Racing Developments Yamaha. There's number 67, Andrew Reid. Can he do it again? Just behind him, you could see number 11, Joe Collier from Leicester, now mounted on the B. Weiser Kawasaki under the judiciary of Tommy Hill, who we've just been talking to. The lights will go on first and then off. You can see there's a fair few gaps in that grid. So some people have got some very empty track to aim at. Here they go, 14 laps now, this shortened second running of the Pirelli National Superstock 600 Championship. A championship for young guns that first got into action back in 2001. Ben Wilson was the winner then. Yeah, it's Andy Reid who's made that start again, just like the first race. And like I say, he's possibly got the pace to clear off in this. Mason Law did go with him in the first start, though, albeit only for a couple of laps we got to see him. So off the start, your friend James Lodge has made a good start. Yeah, he's into 6th place on bike number 7. Collier's behind him, James Edwards, and the little Irwin lad, who's Andrew Irwin. I was getting his name mixed up earlier, I beg his pardon. Has got a bright start as well. So Irwin riding bike number 8 from Carrickfergus, the MWR Kawasaki, as they come sweeping across the finishing line. Check them out at the end of that first vital lap. And the leaders Reid. Law is second again. Ride third. Godfrey in fourth. James Lodge, Tom Oliver, Joe Collier, James Edwards, Andrew Irwin, and number 57, Levi Day. Yet another Australian on the CPE Motorsport Kawasaki. Yeah, I'm glad to see that whatever they've done to that oil up there, they've dressed it. People are going straight over it, and not a problem at all. So good job from the marshals up at Druids there. The latest addition, you might have just glimpsed there just outside the top 10, the latest addition to the Team Haribo Starmix Triumph team is none other than Charlie King, who was a strong competitor in the Triumph Triple Challenge last year, the tall, gangly youth from East Anglia. Yeah, nice lad is Charlie from Great Yarmouth there. Long trip to get anywhere from there. Crossing the line. So perhaps Snetterton. Here's James Lodge, up the inside, 4th, I think, for him now. So he might have got the better then of yet another of begging pardon, Ben Godfrey from Long Eaton on their Qingdao WK Kawasaki. So he's getting nudged back to 5th place by Lodgy. Good run from Kyle Ride, you know, on the yellow and black bike there, 3rd. It's not done much with the bigger bikes, and he's certainly clicked with this stock 600 class quicker than I thought he might. Kyle Ride, bright-eyed young man from Derbyshire way. And he's getting hounded now by, it's Lodge, isn't it, number 7, I think, who's made a breakthrough, and of course both of them former 125 GP champions, James. I was just going to say they know each other well from 125s. Also, Ride spends a little bit of time in Huddersfield because he goes out with the sister of Joe Irvin, who lives in Oldfirth. Oh, right. Glad we got that. Got all that. Tell you what, Lodge is having to fight off. Who is that in the red and white? Is it Tom Oliver? Tom Oliver from Colchester on the Anglia Fixing TK Cope Moto Yamaha. Oh, well, he's really trying to get the better Yamaha. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I didn't realise. I set out on it before I realised what I'd let myself in for then. In the lead, Andrew Reid. 2nd place, Mason Law. And there, the bright yellow bike of Kyle Ride, number 97 from Jacksdale on the Pace Days Track Days Yamaha R6. He leads a clutch of lads who all want that 3rd place off him. And as they come charging down the Brabham Straight, He's got plenty of pace in a straight line, Kyle Ryde, because James Lodge still a couple of bike lengths short of trying to launch an assault as they go down Paddock Hill.
Yeah, he might be launching an assault up to Druids now. We see number 7 going up the inside of the asset and Lodge through into 3rd place now. Nice move, clean enough.
Joe Collier set the fastest lap, 48.0. So Joe Collier, who's currently in 6th place, the latest acquisition by the team Haribo Starmix crew, is putting the pressure on this lot. He's now almost become part of that battle, but he needs to make a move quickly, of course, because we're on the 5th lap of only 14.
Yeah, with these lads, it's still plenty of time to do a bit of damage, I'll tell you. They don't need much of an excuse.
Dropping down Paddock Hill bend, here comes number 11. Oh, that was a close call. Oh, is that Collier? I beg your pardon. Collier has moved from Haribo Starmix Triumph onto the Be Wiser Kawasaki. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So I reckon Tommy Hill's taught him moves like that. So Joe Collier, who was really unlucky actually because he completely missed his braking point into the hairpin at Knock Hill last season and got taken out of a couple of rounds as a kind of reprimand for his misbehaviour because he fetched down one of the lads in front of him, and that obviously dented his championship chances. He ended up 4th in the Superstock 600 series. There he is, number 11 on the green Be Wiser Kawasaki. Yeah, he's now right behind Kyle Reid.
Kyle Ryde, yeah.
Kyle Ryde, I beg your pardon.
Reid, Ryde, Potato, Patata.
Andy Reid looks pretty comfortable at the front. He set a fastest lap of 48.2, and he's consistently in the 48.2s, James.
Yeah.
I'm just checking out the lap record is, believe it or not, 47.561. The track was definitely running faster last year.
And your man Collier sliced underneath Kyle Ryde up into Druids there just to take 4th.
And ahead of him in some impressive riding going. Seems just comfortably able to hold that advantage, but this is a big scrap going on behind, and Mason Law now has James Lodge for company.
Yeah, we're going to say James Lodge is going to have to get going because I don't think Collier's going to waste much time getting on the back wheel of him.
James Lodge, 24 years old now, the former chemistry student from the University of Manchester, and that was a snaking move there from number 11 Joe Collier. And is it Mason Law who's been demoted a little bit, or is he still up there in 2nd place? There's so much squabbling going on. Fastest lap, James Lodge, 48.008.
Yeah, James Lodge, you're right, he did graduate with honours. Very, very intelligent lad is James. Yet to find a job though. Get off your backside, James, and do some work.
He describes himself as a sales agent.
No, he's actually, yeah, he's working with
vague.
He's working with his brother. He's doing. I know that. I'm just taking him. I know him that well. We go out for a curry about every couple of weeks with him and his uncles and all the rest of the Lodge family. Good racing family, I've got to say.
Across the line to complete 8 laps, Andy Reid leads the way, and then it's Lodge. Law, Collier, Ryde, Oliver, Godfrey, Van Leeuwen, Irwin and Day rounding out the top 10. So Andy Reid leading it. This is what's going on behind him, with Mason Law now feeling the hot breath of Joe Collier on his neck. Collier tries to get the drive down the hill to Graham Hill. Yeah, Meanwhile, Law is focused on trying to get back past Lodge.
Yeah, Mason Law needs to... I mean, he had a little bit of a go there. It's so easy down into Graham Hill to across the front of you. It's not the best place, not the easiest place to pass. I guess in this class you've got to go where you can.
Those two in picture there, James, interestingly. Mason Law, of course, is being very much mentored by the double world Supersport champion Andrew Pitt, and right behind him, Joe Collier now being attended to by Tommy Hill. A variety of lines over the top of the hill there, James. What was I asked Neil McKenzie what his favourite line was through Paddock Hill Bend, and he said upright and on 2 wheels usually was the only one he could regularly take.
Yeah, he normally was Mr. McKenzie. I've got to say, he didn't go upside down too many times. Andrew Reid in front, he's on a Yamaha. The rest of the pack behind, Kawasaki mounted.
They just clipped 1/10 of a second of him on the last lap, James. I don't know where Andrew is just kind of relaxing a little too much. He's not the sort of rider you would expect to, but the gap is shrinking. Lodge is moving towards him, and he's got a bit of time.
Just have a look at Lodge's line, especially round clearways over the start and finish. It's very wide. You tend to find the people who cut the teeth on the 125s and the smaller bikes in the old days, 250, two-stroke GP class, tend to have wider lines coming out and carry a little bit more corner speed out of the corners. You cannot do that when you get onto the big power classes like the superbikes, because if the bike's on its side, you can't use the power you've got. You've got to sit him up and get him going.
Lodge is the first man under 48, and he's definitely catching. That was a 47.99, 48.36 for Reed, so he chopped a fair amount off the Ulsterman's advantage. On the 11th of 14 laps, suddenly this race has come to life.
Yeah, and Lodge is dragging Mason Law and Collier with him as well. They've raised the game a little bit.
That's a wonderful turn. How many lines can you take? About 44 assorted lines through clearways and the Clark curve. And now, 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and you see that Lodge thought he was close there in second to Reed, the leader, because he was trying to get in the slipstream. And if you're a little bit further back than that, you wouldn't even try. You'd go dead straight. So he does feel like he's got a chance, I think.
What do you think's caused this, Jim? What I mean is, well, why should Reed, who looked so comfortable in the early stages, suddenly find that he's got far too much company?
Well, I don't know. I mean, loads of things come into it. Tyres. I mean, as far as Reed has gone this weekend, I didn't really see, I didn't want to say it, but I didn't see anybody staying with him. The other thing I will say is Reed, if he comes down to a last lap move, is super aggressive, and there is a real big difference in lines there. Lodge went a little bit wide there in second, but Reed has got quite a tight line onto the start and finish straight.
Onto the penultimate lap there. Andrew Reed, sporting his brand new Scott Leathers, leads the way on the FFX Yamaha. 47.885 second lap for Joe Collier there, number 11, running in 4th place.
Well, I'll tell you what, if James Lodge in second, he's going to do anything about winning this race, he needs to do it now, because they've got this half lap and 1 more left. He's not going to get much opportunity to have a go at Reed.
Probably, I guess, the biggest opportunities tend to be Paddock Hill and up Halewood Hill into Druids.
That is the 2 places. Well spotted, Jack. That's where you... Oh, he's not waiting for that.
He sits Andrew Reed up. Well, and that's cost Reed dear, because as he comes round, he suddenly finds he's got Mason Law underneath him, and that's put him from 1st to 3rd in the space of 200 metres. The Ulsterman suddenly is in real trouble of losing his rostrum place.
Lodge defends now. He's got Mason Law for company. Mason's going to have a look at this up the inside of Druids. Has he got the pace? He hasn't. And that's a big opportunity lost, because you don't get many places to overtake easily around here.
Mason's the proper Superstock 600 scrap going on here. It's now Lodge versus Law, Reed versus Collier. Collier gets underneath Andrew Reed. Reedy elbows him and knees him aside as they go into the Cooper Straight, desperately hanging on to that 3rd place. Meanwhile, James Lodge, is he going to take
He's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Looks like he's going to. Collier, I think, has nabbed 3rd place. And as they surge out of the Clark curve, James Lodge is going to say, is he?
He is.
Across the line, Lodge takes it by half a bike from Mason Law. And 3rd place went to Collier. Collier nabbed 3rd place off the desperately unlucky Andy Reid in 4th. Kyle Ride 5th. Oliver in 6th place. What a ride by James Lodge.
It was a brilliant ride. I don't like to kind of, big up my mates, but he really had a good ride there, did James? Proud of him.
And I've got a feeling that is the first race win for James Lodge in this category since he moved into the National Superstock Sixers. He's done 3 seasons there, and I don't think he's won before now.
That's Lodge's missus in the silly lycra suit there.
So James Lodge, who was 5th in the Superstock 600s last year, with 2nd place at Cadwell, 4 times 3rd, finally wins here at Brands Indy on his Kawasaki ahead of Mason Law and Joe Collier. Great scrap. Andrew Reed leads the 3 Yamahas, Kyle Reed and Tom Oliver. Kyle Ride, I beg his pardon, and Tom Oliver 4th, 5th and 6th. Ben Godfrey, Keith Van Leeuwen, Levi Day and Andrew Irvin fill out that top 10 ahead of Charlie King on the Haribo Star Mix Triumph, Nick Anderson, and then there's Perrin Edwards and Taron McKenzie nicks that last point ahead of Wigley, Wakefield, Philp, Mutton and Keane, who sound like a fine batch of solicitors. So that was the National Superstock 600cc Championship. James Lodge leads the championship table on 25 points, ahead of Mason Law on 20 and Joe Collier on 16. Andrew Reid on 13. Kyle Ryde on 11. Tom Oliver on 10, ahead of Ben Godfrey, Keith Van Leeuwen, Levi Day and Andrew Irvin. And just outside the top 10, we have 5 points for Charlie King, 4 for Nick Anderson.